Hey guys, I'm back. I know it's been a very long time. I don't know if you could tell, but she's very dusty. Haven't touched her in a while, and that's on me partially, mainly me. Been working a lot. My new job that I got requires me to be gone months at a time, so when I'm gone for a long period of time. Don't have time to touch her. But I've been ordering some parts here, so a lot of stuff has come in, so I can actually put stuff on now. So I'm really excited. Not have to really wait on parts anymore. Go ahead and try to get the wiring done, because with the wiring done, everything plumbed, I can actually hear the Coyote run for the first time, which is really, really exciting to me. So I have that going on. Other than my work, I've been working on other projects too. I have my 65 coupe that I have, my dad's 49 F1, and then my girlfriend's 59 Biscayne. Been working on all those. I got the Mustang and the F1 ready for graffiti. I went to graffiti. That was a lot of fun. Enjoyed that a lot. Every year we do graffiti, so it's always a big thing for us. Show some clips of that, enjoying the cruise and so on. Other projects I'm working on, my girlfriend's Biscayne. She's doing a full restoration on that one too. She posted on TikTok. I'll post her TikTok up here. So she's doing that, and she loves the whole process of it. So I'm really happy she's enjoying restoring a car. At least the ups and downs of restoring a car, because there's definitely some down points, frustrating points. Let's say that. Well, with that being said, let's go ahead and get to work, because Chewy wants to go cruising. So I kind of was trying to get recording of me putting the engine harness in, but I kept blocking the camera angle, so it didn't really work out that well. So I'm gonna kind of just go over what I did here. Where I started was actually right here in the middle, which sounds kind of funny, but it makes sense when you guys actually start doing it yourselves. You go one. They're all like right next to each other, so you can't mess them up. You can't crisscross. And what I did is I started putting these little tabs in here. One, there's another one, 2, 3. Basically, that lines you up exactly where it needs to go, because you can't crisscross them. So basically, it goes down here in a direct line. So I started plugging these in, and then I went over here, wrapped the harness through the back, and lined the tabs again up. 1, 2, and started putting these in. As I got those in, I kind of figured, okay, this starts to wrap here. So you kind of see more tabs. There's a tab here, here, and here. And then you go to the cam phase sensors, I think it is. Here, and you work your way down. There's a little tab here, and another tab back there. And I go, it's like the oil pressure sensor that's down there. Now going back to the front over here, got the phase sensors in the front here. And there's a sensor for, what is it? It's for the degasser bottle, which I'm not going to use, so this kind of just doing there for now, because where that one thing was, remember when we took it out. There's a ground right here that fits perfectly right there, and this is for the throttle body, but unfortunately I don't have it plugged in because my throttle body came cracked here. So I'm going to see if I can just buy this plastic piece here, not a whole throttle body, because we're on a budget here. I'm broke. Also, I'm not too sure how this goes yet. I think it goes to this tab right here, because there's one in there, I think, that they just cut off. So right here, and I don't know where the other one goes, but pretty much the PCM sits over here. There's a ground down here that I don't know where it goes to. I think it goes to the AC, I'm just guessing, and like a body harness connection there that goes to the other body harness that's in the garage. Overall, it actually wasn't that hard. If you just kind of start with the fuel rail and then the coils and stuff like that, work your way that way, clip those aligning points in, and work your way back and kind of across. You really can't mess it up. I don't even know really what I'm doing here, if that makes sense, but it kind of just plug and play for the most part, and that really makes things so much easier for everyone involved. So overall, I'm happy with this. Let's go ahead and do the transmission one real quick, and then look at the body harness, and then probably get a headache. So the engine harness is pretty buttoned up for the most part here. I have the PCM kind of mocked up right here on the left side. This is where it sits on the factory side for like a Mustang. So the engine harness ends right here. So this is where it wants to sit naturally. So I went ahead and kind of zip tied it down, kind of mock things up. I put the battery in place, so see where I can slide the PCM to the left and right. And I went ahead and connected the body harness and the transmission harness to the PCM, and kind of started routing everything. So at first I was routing it back here, but I didn't like how it ran along the inner fender well. So I kind of wanted to figure out a different way to do it. So I started routing it over the engine, over the top side and the back, and it really wasn't working out too well because there's a lot of components that come up here too and come to the cooling lines and so on. So I found these tabs on the bottom of the oil pan and kind of ran it downward alongside here. There's a lot of tucking up and stuff I can clean up here still, but I kind of routed it down. I'm gonna go down there right now and show you guys kind of what I did here. So underneath here there was tabs, and you can kind of see, if I can point to it real quick, right there. I used those things with the studs, which is right here. Had a couple of these laying around, so I used those to hold up the wires to like the bolts. On the side here there was some kind of other studs here that I was able to put zip ties through and hold up a lead and kind of route it that way. So that's kind of what I did, slowly place everything one by one and kind of routed them back. So on the passenger side, I have a lead going back here. This is like the main body harness that goes to like the fuse box. So I have it running on the passenger side going back. I'm gonna have it go up, and that's where I had the box up there, which I've shown a little bit, kind of mocking things up still, how I want to route it up along the transmission and the backs of the engine, and kind of see where I want to place that fuse box. And that has electric fan and the fuel pump along with it too, so I have to kind of figure out how I want to run those wires back and forward to my fans and to my fuel pump module. So that's the passenger side. On the driver's side, it has mainly the transmission harness, which comes this way. So this goes from the transmission underneath between the oil pan and like the flywheel. There's a plate between it so it can't catch or nothing, so it just sits in between, and I have it going this way up to the PCM. So over here you have like the alternator wire and so on, and like the oil pressure, I think it's like the oil pressure sender or temperature gauge, whatever that goes to the PCM that it needs to read. Have it running along the driver's side here. I'm gonna kind of tuck it up and put was like a heat shield, like a wrap around the wires that is close to the exhaust here, kind of protect it. But for the most part, it all is weather tight sealed underneath here. This, I don't like it right here exposed right in the front, so I don't really know what I want to do here. I might put a wrap over this too, kind of cover the whole thing. Just kind of still working on it here, but for the most part, you can't see anything from the top side, so that's kind of where I like it. But I want to make sure they're still protected. So I'm going to go to the back side and kind of show you how I routed along the transmission. So here's the back side of it. That's on the driver's side still. Coming straight back, running along the transmission. The O2 bung sensor sitting right there, going up to that little plug there. All the way up, I have it going up here. These lines right here are my transmission coolant lines. Are not buttoned up yet, obviously, because they're attached to there, which spins, so they can't sit there. But it goes up and over, and to the little hole back there that I have in my cab, which I originally had for my wires that run to the brake lights and so on, to my battery, and those wires there too also, they get held like my transmission shift cable, so I have to put that in still. But they all ran up into the cab, so I have like my pedal, throttle pedal response, that's up there, the wires up there, the wires I need to go to, a couple gauges that go up there, and so on. So everything from where I can see reached perfectly into the cab through here, which I have plenty of length in the cab to kind of figure out where I want to put those things. So the way I routed them, it seems to be working perfectly fine. Everything's hidden. You can't see all the wires along the fender well. Now on the passenger side, try to slide over here real quick. Probably gonna cut this out. Alright, so the passenger side, this is where the 6R80, the factory computer thing, the wires go to. They just slide in here and you turn this little wheel here and it locks in place. So I have a little bit of wiggle room here, so I didn't have it too taut, so at least it's still not too much tension on it. Goes up and over, have these tabs holding it. Over here has the O2 sensor, which sits right there, and it goes to the exhaust. And this length right here is kind of all free still. A lot of loose ends, as you can tell here, so I can figure out how exactly I want to tuck it up here on this side. The one you just saw that fall is the one that's on the passenger side going along the oil pan. This is going to go up to what I was saying, the fuse box that's in the engine bay. So I have plenty of length to pull it up there and kind of figure out how exactly I want to route that up there. The only thing is, this has, I think, a ground wire, the fuel pump, and then the electric fan wire. So I gotta figure out pretty much where I want to put the fuse box before I run this to it and go from there. I think the other fuse box panel is like right there too, so it will reach around here somewhere pretty easily with plenty of length. I just gotta kind of finalize and button up a couple of things, and then protect the wires with some wrap again, even though they have a wrap on it. I want to do extra protection for the heat because the exhaust is right here. Also extra protection just for anything that might come around and nick it while I'm driving in and stuff like that. Just kind of go from there. But I want to kind of take a break on the wiring. I'm gonna go ahead and work on the transmission cooler. So I have the lines going up and over. Kind of hard to tell right now. Sorry, I'm in a terrible spot to record this. Go up and over this to the transmission side, which goes to these two ports right over here. These two ports here, and this is the adapter right here, and it's very dark. Go figure. So you can get the light on. Nope. See. There it is. Those two ports right there. Those two ports go into these ports. Since the transmission and the engine moved up forward from the original setup I had, these lines are now too short. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect these lines, make them the correct length, and put them in because my transmission has been leaking a little bit because these are loose. Because this is where that shift cable goes to, bolts here, so I've kind of been leaking them for a while. And I kind of tired of leaks now, so I kind of want to just put those on so no more leaks and kind of button things up down here. Because it's still kind of a mess, but it's starting to come together. I'm enjoying wiring. Not really. Kind of enjoying wiring, but I kind of hate it still because it's a pain in the butt. So I'm going to take these two lines off here. I didn't use the A&F fittings correctly here. These are like a push-on style that came with the kit. I didn't like them, so I put these clamps on them because I didn't trust it. But obviously it helped from the pressure when I did run this setup here. I'm just going to go ahead and disconnect the fittings here and kind of just redo them again because this is really ugly on both sides. I did the same thing. That side has an adapter which has like the temperature sensor, so it tells it when to kick on the fan here. This is like a really good setup here. I'll show up the link where I got it from right now. Yeah, I had no problems with the transmission overheating. This was a really good setup. It worked really well for the few miles I did put on with the setup here, going from, I think I did a couple 30-minute drives with it, so it worked really good. I just want to button things up again to make this more pleasant to the eye. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the lines right now. I'm guessing that way. I can't do anything clean. Everything has to be dirty. So this is the adapter here from Power by the Hour here that goes into the 6R80, and it just replaces the hard lines, so you can use A9 lines, so you can kind of make custom lines for it. So I'm taking a little break and went inside the cab here. As you can tell, it's really dusty. It's been a while since I've been in here. Last time I was in here is when I gutted all those wires, and that's been a little while now. Have all those wires fed up here now. That goes to the controller and some gauges up here and so on. There isn't too many wires actually I'm using there, so thankfully it's not too much of a mess. I gotta tidy all this up here, and I gotta put back up my AC stuff here with the controls. That's kind of why it's a mess down here. But I'm working on my shifter right now, so I have sequential shifting. I can't talk. Well, plus and minus, which allows me to bump shift. So that's what those wires are for, and that's going to plug into that harness, which is pretty easy. You just gotta follow the directions one wire at a time, and it's going to be good to go. I'm going to go ahead and hook up the shift linkage, which is this cable here. This goes to the bottom of the transmission, has a little bit of adjustability where I want to slide it. And this part over here, there it is, that goes to right here in this hole. So I'm gonna go ahead and feed it from underneath, put it to that hole, line it up, and kind of put this where it needs to go. Also, I went to Power by the Hour and I got like a shift bracket that stops it. Let's see what the part number is real quick. There you go. So pretty much that basically the transmissions, like the newer ones, have like manual mode, and then it has like 1, 2 for like low gears. This one doesn't have that. I don't want to put my transmission to a fail-safe mode by going too far down on accident, so it doesn't bottom out. So I'm gonna basically put it so it bottoms out, so I can't do that no more. So it's in sport mode right now, and it goes bump shift, so I can shift gears manually when I want to. And then when I want to go back to drive. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, so I'm gonna hook up my shift lever cable real quick, button some things up here, and yeah, I'll show the process of this wiring for the shift cable. But to button things up here, there really isn't much to show. I'll kind of show the aftermath on that part. now that I have the front linkage set up over there, I gotta do the back hole on the back. You see a little groove on the back of the cable there. Let's see if we can point to it. So that little groove right there, I gotta go ahead and put a little bracket there. This one right here. It's not gonna focus. This bracket here goes in the groove, and there's a screw that goes through it, and that pretty much locks the pin back there, so the cable doesn't move freely. Watch, I'll show you guys real quick. Watch the cable real quick. So it sits there. Not the greatest example, but it kind of moves up and down. Pretty much it locks the cable in place, so it doesn't have too much free play there. Because when I connect it to the transmission on down below, it has a lot of wiggle room, and it kind of throws it out of gear instead of actually having it sit in the right spot. So I'm going to start working on the interior here. I got to get rid of a couple things. There's a couple wires that I don't need in here anymore that used to go to gauges or for the computer, or I guess for the wire harness in here to read different things that I do not need anymore since it's a newer engine. So first off, I'm going to get rid of this pedal here. I have a brand new pedal that came with this wiring kit. It's an electronic pedal, so I got to go ahead and get rid of this pedal here, and also the cable setup that goes to it. It does suck. I did drill holes through here for my floor mat here because I was going to keep this pedal, but I gotta find something to cover the holes now. We'll figure that out later. Now that the gas pedal's out of the way, I'm gonna go ahead and start taking out these wires here. These went to the original engine here, like the ignition feed, like the ignition coil, another coil, electric choke, and I think like another alternator feed kind of thing. That's what these went to. These two oil, I think this is oil pressure, and this is like water temp. So pretty much these are probably gonna stay out here so I can go to the Coyote, so I can still read my gauges I have inside. This was a TPS sensor here that went to the carburetor, so I can use the 6R80 with the big block, but no longer being in use, so this is going to get eliminated. And these are staying pretty much at least around this general area. I'm probably going to have to cut them and extend them just because the new booster that I'm getting for power brakes is going to be out here more and not there. So I'm going to go ahead and pull these back in, kind of reroute how I want to do them, and go from there and get rid of like this was for this little wire here was for the throttle cable, so kind of just clean things up here, fix this corner because ugly mess. I might go ahead and route the green wire, which is water temp, up to the sending unit or the temperature sensor that I put in up there, right there in the middle. So I might do that and kind of mock up how I want to run the wires going from there all the way to here, and I got one more that's got to go down there for the oil pressure. Overall, it's not bad. I got rid of a couple wires, but I did add a whole bunch. Alright, let's get this one done. So this is the pedal bracket I have from Fat Fender Garage here. Nothing special, just some nuts welded on the back. The pedal bolts right up to it. So basically these 4 holes on top here, I have to line it up onto the firewall real quick and pretty much see where I want to put it, up, down, left, right, basically where it feels right to me for a pedal. Let me show you guys where I was thinking. It's a wiry mess, do not make fun of me. It is not done yet. Alright, let's see here if I can get a good video of it. And zoom out. Alright, so there's a couple holes already made on the firewall because that's where I had the wires originally going through. Let's see, so right there is where the original hole is, where I think it needs to go. Because it doesn't tell you where exactly to go when you buy this thing. It kind of just goes off of pictures and where you kind of make it feel right. But this is kind of where I'm thinking of putting it, right here, and bolt it in. So one of the holes where I had the wires feeding through to the engine is exactly where this thing's gonna sit. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a bolt through it and kind of snug it up a little bit and see how it feels here, and sit on the seat and just kind of see if I can actually press the gas and just see how it feels, if it needs to go up more, down more, and just see where it sits. Alright, so this is kind of what I have here. I have it bolted up here. Just temporary bolt for now, just kind of get it exactly where I want it. I'm going to go ahead and bolt up the pedal now and sit on the seat and see how it feels. So I put the steering wheel back on. It's very dusty. And here's the pedals. Here we go. Not too sure on the spacing wise. Kind of have to get a feel for it. Honestly, where it's at, it's actually pretty... Yeah, where it's at, it feels really good actually. Not too high, not too low. I really want to, yeah. I think I have my seat all the way back too. I'm a little bit shorter, on the shorter side, so yeah, that's where it's gonna stay, I think. I have my seat all the way back, don't have to even scoot it up and be perfectly fine. Just reach the pedal perfectly fine. Cool. Alright, so now that I know where I want it, I'm gonna go ahead and poke the three other holes, drill all the way through the firewall, get the correct bolts, bolt it in. Alright, so the 4 holes are drilled. You can't really see them. Well, 1, 2, there's a couple of holes from previous things I've done, and there's one up there. I'm gonna go ahead and paint this now, cover up the threads and paint it real quick. Just go like a flat black and bolt it up, get the pedal on, and yeah, I'm really excited. It actually worked out really well where the holes popped out of. I probably should have checked where the holes are gonna pop out, but I didn't. Just full sent it, and it actually worked out for once. So I just want to show you guys a quick little trick that I use to pretty much cover threads up when it comes to painting. I learned this from my uncle. He did it when he did like his litter skin inside his cab on this dog truck. Pretty much you get some earplugs, squish them down, stick them inside, and I gotta squish it a little more, but stick them inside and the earplugs expands. That's how it does in your ear. So it's going to expand, it's going to cover the threads and pretty much protects the threads entirely instead of tape kind of thing. So you stick it in as much as you can and it's going to expand, and that's pretty much all covered, and you can paint around it and it'll be perfectly fine. So I'm going to do that to each one of these threads here. I'm only using 3 of these threads, but I think it's because this is like a universal plate for like Gen 1 part to Gen 3 Coyotes. I guess the pedal kind of changes form how you get them. Looks pretty good for just a rattle can paint job. I wish I had a powder coating machine, because that would be night and day difference and probably won't chip off, but gotta deal with what I have for now. Yeah, you really won't see it. The pedal's gonna cover it, and yeah, it's gonna look really good. These earplugs work really well. So I have the pedal fully mounted now here. Came out really good. The black, so it all blends in with the new hardwire and everything. The spacing actually, I thought it was gonna be too close, but it actually feels pretty comfortable. So it works out really well. Now I gotta feed the remaining wires back into the engine bay. It was like the coolant temp, oil pressure, and I think there was like a couple other little ones in for the brake booster. Feed those back through on top right hole all over there, and this area should be done. Come back in here and tidy it all up because it looks like an ugly mess. Alright, so I have the interior pretty much cleaned up from the last clip I did. It's actually been, I think the last clip was 3 weeks ago since I actually was able to touch this car in this truck. So I ran a lot of the wires up in between and to the middle where I wanted them. I still gotta make a custom center console and a boot for that shifter, which is all down the line. I'll probably get it running first before I even do that. These wires over here in the corner running over the steering column, those I believe are for the ignition key and so on. So that's what those are for, running to the Coyote. So I gotta tie that into my key and see if I can actually tap into it, which I think I can. There's no reason for me not to be able to tap into it, so I should be able to figure that out. But mainly in here, it's pretty much done. There's one little, I forgot what kind of port it is, but it's to kind of tune it and like read codes and stuff. That's sitting right there. The reason that's there is because I'm probably gonna tie that into the center console somehow. Have a little flap open up and you can plug into it. Just kind of make it look like it belongs. My goal is to make it look completely stock, even though there's a Coyote in there. You'll kind of get little features where you're like, oh yeah, that's definitely not stock, but yeah, at least that's my end goal. Make this kind of a good daily driver without killing myself. Yeah, so the interior wise, I think it's pretty much how I want it for now. I'm gonna go back underneath and figure out where I left off, because I don't even remember where I left off, which is kind of funny to think about. Let's see here, take the phone off the mount. as a car drive by. That's a good test from the mic. So underneath, I still have a lot of wires that needs to run to the battery with my tripod. But yeah, see, there's still a lot of wires down here that I gotta figure out where they go again. Usually I have them tucked up. I don't have them on the floor like that, so that was an oopsie on me. Kind of forgot about them. Yeah, let's go ahead and figure that out. There's a couple wires that are just kind of hanging next. I'm not sure if you can see that. Next to the shift cable. Those just get tied up to the shift cable and kind of tucked away so it doesn't hit the drive line. So those aren't very bad. There's only, I think there's only like maybe 4 or 5 wires, and one of them's for the amp. So it shouldn't be too bad. Mainly just goes to the starter. And yeah, I might just go feed him over there because the starter isn't even technically in yet, which is awkward. Gotta put that in. I don't even have the bolts for that. Yeah, there's still so much work to do. Alright, let me get a good angle here. Alright, so you know that big jumbo mess of wires? Well, they're still kind of there, but they're fed a little bit better. So like I said, I usually tie them to the shift cable. That's what I usually have. And yeah, that's exactly what I did again. So tied them across the shift cable, along the transmission mount, over. There's a truck coming by. Okay, truck left, and then back towards the pretty much dark abyss over in the corner, which you can't really see. But through there, along the frame rail to the front, which is, a lot of this goes to, like, one of them's for my amp, the other one goes to battery positive, and then another one to my starter solenoid. So I gotta mount the starter, but I don't have the bolts yet, so I'm not gonna do that. But at least they're fed that way. I don't remember what this brown wire is for, which is bad on my part. Another car. But I don't remember what this brown wire goes for, so I'm gonna look into, see where that goes. It ties into that black harness that I made over there, and it looks like it's that one, it's one of the longest ones for the loop. So I'm not sure if that went to like an alternator or something else that I had that needed power. Maybe I don't remember if I just kind of added it. It's not part of the main harness. It's not labeled, so it's a custom wire that I think I did and added to whatever I needed for back on the old build. So I'm gonna see if I still need it. If not, I'll eliminate it from the harness. One less thing I gotta worry about. And yeah, the shift cable is a little bit angled towards where the driveline is, so I might have to angle it out just a little bit, like that. Use a zip tie like right here. That's usually what I do. You can see if you see that, but zip tie right there, and it pulls it all the way. So that's easy fix. I don't remember if I showed this already, but yeah, I bought this battery cover. It makes it look like the original battery back then. It's been sitting on here for dusty. It's very, very dusty. Also, this came in from Fat Finger Garage, the PCM cover. This is not fully mounted yet. I'm gonna have it flush like to that right there. Is that this line? It's gonna be right there on it. It just kind of covers the PCM, makes it look a lot nicer and everything. So it kind of hides the PCM because it looked ugly before with the zip ties that I had holding it. So that is a fuse box right there. This little gray box. Wait, see that long loop right there? So that goes to that lead down there and pretty much connects to it. So I can mount this anywhere as long as that thing reaches down there. So I see people put it like right next to PCM. This is just a random zip tie I can pull out, and there it goes. Maybe I can't pull it out. Okay. Anyways, geez, this is a mess. I didn't figure out where I want to mount this. I have a lot of stuff going on in this corner just because the heater and so on. I don't have the best heater system, I guess you can say. One is a little bit old school because it has that pull cable, but it works. So if it's not broken, why make it worse? Let's see. I can put it up here because the hood's so high. I can have it kind of high, but then it's gonna be a sore. It's gonna kind of stick out too much, kind of a sore thumb, you can say. I can't put it that way. I don't want to put it behind the engine because then that's going to be a pain in the butt to get to. And then when you look in the engine bay, it's going to be the first thing you see. So we're right back there. That's kind of annoying. It's going to have to be in this corner somewhere. Don't know exactly where yet. As you can tell, I was kind of playing with it here. Kind of see how I want to route this thing. Alright. This is what I have to play with. I might, since it naturally wants to go that way, I might have to keep it like this and just put it right on top. I might just put it like right here, which I don't want to drill another hole, but I can use part of this bolt here for some kind of bracket I can make, because this has 4 holes. Yeah, I can make a custom bracket where that will hold, because it doesn't need that much weight. That one bolt should be able to hold it if I do it correctly. And just have it sit pretty much like this. Just have it sit like that in there. See, the rest is like that, kind of. Let's see how that looks. Just that corner's gonna look like shit. I'm not in love with that spot. Not at all. Well, I'll be right back. Let me do some thinking. Alright, so after looking everywhere, trying to figure out where I want to mount this thing. I didn't want to go over here. It's too busy, like I was saying earlier. I seen people mounted over there on the far side where the brake booster is. I was thinking about it, but it was kind of hard to get to the box still. I want to be able to still access this really easy because it's kind of hard to lean in with all the hood and the hinge and stuff. So I decided to do something really different. Well, I don't know, different, but I haven't seen anyone really do it yet. So I'm going to probably route it right here. So you can feed the wire through. So I'm not sure if you can see this real quick, but I'm going to put it right here. The wire, I'll probably put it lower so it kind of hides. I can still access both sides, so I can pull the top off. And the wire can feed that way. So, but the problem is I have to take the battery out, which isn't that hard. It's not mounted yet. But what's hard is there's a car coming by. But what's really hard about this is I have to take the battery tray out. So I have to take out, I think it's really over engineered. It has like 6 bolts holding it in. Not really that hard to do, but it's just kind of a cumbersome thing, because down there is a little, I'll show you guys in a little bit. There's like a little opening where I can feed the thing through. Only problem is I can't feed it through because this is too big, but I can feed it through because this will fit, but this won't fit. So I take it apart, kind of slide this in there, and then mount the kind of hold this up somewhere, so I can put the bracket back on for the battery tray. Yeah, so really, just to hide wires pretty much and make it look pretty. This is the only reason why I'm doing this. But in the end, it'll be worth it because it's just gonna sit right here and it'll look like it belongs for the most part, and you won't be able to see any wires. I think if I really want to go crazy, I could put it like right there, like tucked up right against it. Like it literally looks like it'll belong there from factory, and I can still access the top. Kind of hard to pull the top off because it's not actually mounted or nothing, but there you go. So I can still get to my fuses and whatever I got to do if anything pops and so on. It's just the smart way to do it instead of hiding it underneath 5 different brackets and then you can never get to it. It defeats the whole purpose of the fuse box. So yeah, it's going to sit there. Let me go get my tools and ratchet sets and get this out of the way. Alright, so I pull the battery tray out, and this is a little hole I was talking about right here. I can feed it through there. There really isn't any sharp metal, and it has that sleeve over it, so it should be fine. Just like this. Like I said, this won't fit there, but this will. So I think I got the 1, 2, and that's not it. That's part of the fender. There's 2 more over here, and I think there's 1 underneath, if I remember correctly. So that is 5. I miscounted, not 6, 5. But yeah, they're kind of easy access, so that's not bad. These aren't bad. I think the one underneath is going to be the one that's a little bit more pain in the butt, if I remember correctly. But it's been a while. Yeah, let's go unbolt it. I'll take this out of here because I don't want to scratch it. Alright, so this little crevice is where I want the wire to go. God, I could have swore I cleaned all this, and go figure. See, it's all a little rusted again, dusty. Just my luck. So I want it to be in that little hole there. I just gotta make sure that sits underneath there. That stays there. Oh, this is gonna be fun. This is one that helps to have an extra hand, but we'll see. Just lay it on top for now. There you go. Not too shabby. And still pull this where I need it, feed what I don't want through. Perfect. Alright, I'm going to feed it all the way down so you can kind of see over here. So I can connect it first, then I can pull the slack where I need it and keep the battery out for now. Let's go ahead and basically undo everything I did to make it go that way to put it back this way now. Yay! Alright, as you can see, I have it connected now, looped right through there, and here it is. So since here, so I have slack, I can still adjust where I want to mount it. So I'm going to go ahead and pretty much put the battery back in, just slide it in for mock-up purposes, and figure out where I want this, make a custom bracket, drill a couple holes, mount it, and then I can go ahead and tuck that exactly where I want it. But yeah, so what I did is I left it still fed underneath the engine using the rails that they had down there, and I just kind of took off the zip ties that I didn't need and kind of looped it back this way, because there's still a lot of slack because this thing is like right here, so that thing is able to kind of go anywhere in the engine bay. But since I didn't want to have a big loop clumped up right here, because you can still see it, I'm gonna have it go along the frame rail on top of it right there. There's a couple holes I can use to mount it with zip ties, and I just basically hit the slack by going that way and then coming back around in a big loop. Because people cut this stuff up and make them shorter exactly how they want it. I'm not doing that because that's a lot more work than really need to do. Just kind of tuck things away underneath and hide them, and if you ever need to move things, you still have the length to do so. So time to get this cardboard, this cut out with the Dremel, go over there, make some holes, and turn it into this ugly catastrophe of a thing. Well, oh god, I need more hands. Hold on a second. Alright, now that I got both hands here, so I have two holes here that go into this little side fender well. It's going to sit right there, and it's going to bolt into here, and these 4 holes is what's going to hold this into place. So I have 4 tabs here. I found the thread size. They don't come with the bolts, of course, never do, but I found the right thread. I don't know what thread it was. There's some bolts laying around the shop I have, and I'm going to sit it right here. So it's going to sit right there. The wires are going to be tucked in underneath, and you have the battery sitting here with the PCM over there. So yeah, it looks like it's going to belong. It's not out of place, and I can still access the tabs to take off the cover even with the battery here. It's not too tight. Fingers can still fit. So yeah, let's go get this catastrophe cleaned up a little bit and painted. Let's go. As you can tell, I'm back in my paint booth again. I'm going over here with the roll bar chassis because that's what I have sitting around. And let's go ahead and paint it. Alright, so while that bracket that I made is drying from the paint, I'm gonna go ahead and mount the PCM box, which is right there. So I gotta take the PCM out, and there's 4 holes in the bottom where I'm gonna line it up and pretty much mount it where I want it. Easy enough. Alright, so this is what I came up with. I'm not going to use these 4 holes in the bottom because it'd be too complicated to use. I'm just going to drill 1, 2, drill 2 holes there, drill 2 holes here, and mount it like that and call it a day. That'd be a lot easier than using the ones I gave you. And who cares, I'm just drilling to this. It shouldn't affect nothing. The PCM just slides in. The bolt holes I might have to put lower because the PCM does get skinny in the back end. I don't want it to bottom out and hit the bolt hole, and then I'm going to have issues mounting it here. So I'll take a look at that before I drill the holes. If I need to put them higher or lower, doesn't, or even one low, one high. It gets skinny in the back, so the bolt holes should be able to miss that. And yeah, it doesn't really affect nothing. They have some engraving on here, on the bottom and the top. That's just their logo on top, and then this is just to let it breathe. So yeah, let's go ahead and drill some holes into my new part. So I slid the PCM in right here, and the top side you can't really see nothing, so I line it up with the holes here. But the bottom end you can see everything, so it's really closer to the top. So what I'm going to do is drill the holes more towards the bottom on the on here, so more towards the bottom and down here. Because if I drill them too right in the middle, it's going to hit the PCM, and then it won't go flush to this, and then it'll just defeat the whole purpose of this casing, and it won't work out. So drill them a little lower, and it should be good. Alright, so I got the holes marked, so I'm just going to punch them real quick so it doesn't walk on me too much. That hurts my soul. Brand new piece. Alright, there's no going back now. Well, there really wasn't anyway. Alright, there's 2 holes. Just gotta flare them out a little bit. Alright, there's the 2 holes. See my bolt fits, and it does. I'll put a washer on it too so it doesn't heat it up too much, but oh, that was not fun. Not fun at all to do. Alright, 2 more holes. Here we go. But yeah, just try to get it in the hole right there, and I'm gonna go underneath and see if I can find it. I don't even know if I can access that. Let me know when you get it in. No. Alright, thanks to my sister, I was actually able to mount it, which is nice. Let's see if this thing actually slides in still. And it does, so it doesn't bottom out because of the bolts. So I don't know. Well, these are hex head. Well, I'll be right back. Let me get the right socket. Alright, I got the right socket now. Let's basically just slide this plug in. I'll do the closer one to me first. That one in, tying them up afterwards. 1 and 2. Oh yeah, this looks so nice. Yeah, it looks so much better. Oh, night and day difference. I know I don't have a regular ratchet, but just do this real quick. Oops. I go the wrong way. I am. Dumbass. Don't go too tight. There it is. Might rattle just a little bit down here. Might put a rubber down there, just because there's nothing on the, there's not the 4 corners, it's just the back. We'll put a rubber seal down there, you will never hear it. But that looks so nice. I'm very happy with this. My buddy has a laser cutter. I might have him put Felix on this instead of just having this, just because, yeah, that'd be nice to put Felix down here somewhere. That'd be pretty cool. All right, on to the next thing. Let's see if the bracket's nice and dry. Actually, I forgot one thing. Let's see if these even fit on here. I know this one has plenty of slack. That one works. Right on. It was this one that had a little bit of too much snug. Yeah, see? It actually goes on. It's a little bit too snug. I don't like that. It goes on, but I don't like how much I have to pull on it. These two are perfectly fine. I'm gonna just give some more slack on this one and it'll be perfect. But wow, I have a race truck now. I appreciate all the ongoing support you guys have been getting me throughout this whole process of this build. We still have a long way to go. Hopefully in the next video we get this fuel tank in, we get the power steering lines in with the power steering pump, the brake lines, and also the fuel line. Almost forgot about that. But if we get all that done, maybe we can actually hear this Coyote run for the first time. But if this is the content you'd like to see, go ahead and just hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next one.